and welcome to the latest edition of the Dugout, where we will, of course, be talking about, well, all things Indian cricket. But in this case, of course, we have to start with talking about and start, middle, end, everything is all going to be about yesterday's match. Yes, it was a feel good victory, an absolute thrashing handed out to the noisy neighbours, if I may steal a phrase from Sir Alex Ferguson. But it really always
They're all pesky, right?
they're definitely
They're
pesky.
all very
They're
pesky.
definitely pesky. Definitely pesky. But again, once again, and we did spend some time talking about it yesterday, but again, I think it does actually bear deeper debate. Is this really a rivalry at all? Can we be tagging it the world's greatest rivalry when it is so lopsided that it's like an amateur team going up against a team of pros? Can we say finally that this is just broadcast and ICC hype and perhaps nothing beyond that? When are we reaching that point of saying enough? Because basis what I'm seeing on, say, certain social media accounts and everything from Pakistan, a lot of them were saying, "Yeah, is such a boycott hi kar lete hain." So they are a little fed
That
up.
would have saved you the embarrassment, I'm guessing.
They would have been very happy. There were others who were saying that, listen, we would have been happier if, like, even we wouldn't shake hands with our team. So, if nothing else, the humor is intact. The cricketing tact may not be. The humor, on the other hand, is. Of course, we are joined by Nikhil, and I must start by saying, love this view. It's really, really refreshing in the eye.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope you guys can hear me.
Perfectly, loud and
We
clear.
hear you well.
So, and see me well.
Yes.
I just want to know, I know, thank you for the compliment on the view, though I had no contribution to make on that. But for the fact to select the view, so at least that's something that I've done, and in short, and I've done a bit of lighting as well. I hope you can see me clearly. There's no issue with lighting.
No, none whatsoever.
Absolutely
So
not.
I have a light with me, and I thought I'll turn it on so that I'm clearer. But then I realized that if I turn the light on, the beautiful views, the colors that you see on the skyline will disappear.
Yeah.
Yeah. The hues are very
So I was like,
distinct.
no.
They're beautifully distinct,
Ah.
I must say. And I also like the fact, even though you may not need those AirPods at the moment, unlike Siddharth did the other day, but I like the fact that you're
No.
10 out of 10 with your gear.
Excuse me, I'm never
Yeah.
without my gear.
See,
Never without my gear.
Even though your AirPods are very clearly visible, they're conspicuous, you don't necessarily need them today. But since we had that episode a couple of days back, I just had to point it out because they're just so conspicuous
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah. No. You have to have your AirPods. It's a broadcast journalist's best friend. We must always have them handy. It allows us to do live, though. You know that when I do my television shows and all, I don't rely on my earpods. Then we've got proper mics so that the audio goes through clearly for you. And then we use multiple phones for talkback, different phones for the video thing. So anyway, here I can afford to use the same phone for my audio as well as my video going through. This is actually the view that you're getting is the same view that most Indian players were getting. This is the team hotel. So
Ah.
I'm talking from one of the balconies. I'm actually getting a much higher view because I'm about 10 floors higher than they were. So I'm on the 32nd floor. The Indian team was on the 22nd floor. So much below us. And Mr. Gavaskar was also, on the 21st or 22nd floor. And he asked me, what floor are you on? And I said, I'm 32nd. So he was like, looking at me with envy, like, oh, the higher floor is like really premium, right? The higher you go because you can see the skyline, you can see the gorgeous ocean behind us. So he was like, oh,
It
you
is-
are
it is
32nd. I was like,
definitely
it is what it is.
an enviable place and an enviable balcony that you're coming to us live from. But as far as the Indian team is
Yeah.
concerned, they may be 10 floors lower than where you are right now. As far as the table is concerned, they're enjoying a pretty good view from there as well.
Yeah. They are. In fact, I interacted with, some of the Indian players and congratulated them on the win. I also added that, to the skipper that towards the end it was a nice toucher to get Rinku and Tilak also to bowl, basically to rub salt into Pakistan's wound. That okay, we've won it. We won it so easily. Yeah, here you go. But I've also met a lot of Pakistani fans, a lot of Indian fans throughout. A lot of them are leaving today. Some are spending holidays, so maybe traveling around Sri Lanka. But yeah, I mean, coming back to the point, the biggest news today has been Mohsin Naqvi, and Mr. Naqvi and the team was staying just like to my left. You can't see that tower, but their hotel was just behind us, and that's where Mohsin Naqvi also stayed. And he beat a hasty retreat yesterday itself from the ground. So, it was interesting that I saw him come into the ground. I was doing my television show at the time from the VIP entrance, and he came in with his cavalcade and fancy luxury car with lots of escort, which is as is the norm, and not so because of him being a PCB cricket chief, but more so because of who he is as in terms of a federal minister in the Pakistani government. So he's accorded that sort of security. So he came in with a lot of fanfare and entered the ground and then vanished quite quickly without a whimper, without anyone knowing. And 78 for 6 was Pakistan when Mr. Naqvi, quietly slipped out of the ground, knowing fully well that his team was done and dusted. And just as well, because after that, they were like, Shadab got out, they were 7 down, and before you knew it, 114 all out. So, but the only thing is, I spoke to Mr. Gavaskar and Harbhajan on this topic as well. And, I said, what do you make of a leader who leaves his team, yeah, even before the battle is, I mean, in that sense the battle was done and dusted, but even then should have been there around towards the end. We had a situation where India lost the final of the 2023 World Cup, and you had a prime minister go to the Indian dressing room and meet everyone there. But just have a look at what Mr. Naqvi did. So for all the bluster and this bravado that he was showing before the tournament started, I mean, he quietly vanished. In fact, Pakistani media channels are reporting that he had actually made a plan to, if they had won, got the Sri Lankan president to come and meet the team. I don't know how he made those plans because the chances of Pakistan winning, I mean, again, no disrespect, but I'm just talking, cricketing point of view. There was no possibility. And even if Pakistan lost, he should have been there, gone to the dressing room, met the boys. And if he had plans to have him introduced to the Sri Lankan premier, then so be it. All of those things should have been happened. And I think whatever said and done, Mohsin Naqvi is kind of not saying that Pakistan can beat India. I think we'll talk at length when we go along in our program about the difference in the skill level and the quality level between the two teams. But think that he's doing them no favor by coming in front of every match and then making sure that he meets the players and gives them a pep talk. He did that in Asia Cup. If you remember, I was there at that Pakistan practice session. I sent you those pictures. Randomly walks into a practice session and starts, meeting the players. What you do is, if there's pressure already on them, you double the pressure. They anyway are going to be struggling against a very competent Indian team. You are just adding on to that pressure by going and meeting them, and you are adding all the political pressure that you have on them. I'll tell you this one more insight, that I got to know from very close quarters, that the Pakistani players were, planning to go out for dinner on the eve of the game with different people. And I happened to know someone who was going to be having dinner with a couple of Pakistani players, okay? And he was supposed to, meet me a little later. So he then called me that, can I meet you now? But I said, you had said you were going to be off for a dinner. He says, no, the people that I was going to go out for dinner with, they had to cancel the plan because there was a diktat that came along that Mr. Naqvi is here, so players have to meet him. So, it was almost like forced upon them that they had to meet him. So Of course, not. I'm not saying they didn't have dinner, but they had to all alter their plan because Mr. Naqvi was reaching here at that time, and they must have had to keep that 1 hour where they had to all assemble and meet Mohsin Naqvi because they were told he's here. You have to meet him, and he flew in a private jet, and so he's living the good life, having good time, showing the world that he's bargaining for Bangladesh and he's doing this and that. And when the going gets tough and his team, is humiliated on the field, he vanishes, leaves the battlefield, runs away. So he's the reason that they're anyway quite inferior to India. They're performing even worse. And then when they're performing worse, he's leaving them high and dry and vanishing.
But this is a common thing with him because he tends to be showing up a lot in a lot of these photo shoots. In fact, even prior to this game, apparently he had gone to meet the players, and Mike Hessen, the head coach, he was asked about it. Obviously, he had to defend what was happening, poor chap, because it's not like he can say anything much. But all it does is just shows you that it's this politician thinking. I'm going to be there for the good times and I'll take all the positive spotlight, positive aura that I can. Things go bad though. I can't be seen near the crime scene. No.
Yeah, there's only one way of looking at this. I can't use the word that's very frequently being mentioned in our comment section. It is quite that behavior only.
Yeah.
But then
It's a word that
What's
rhymes
the
with
word?
pakoda.
huh.
It's a word that rhymes
Okay,
with
got it,
pakoda.
got it.
Yeah. So it's almost sort of fugitive,
Pakoda. Okay, I love
fugitive
pakodas.
kind behavior. It's very fugitive kind behavior. You're just abandoning the team and in the case of a fugitive, at least the authorities are after you. This is not a scene where authorities are after you, but just the lack of responsibility. Again, you talk about good leadership, signs of a good leader. And if you're trying to be the face of Pakistan cricket, if you're going to be meddling into Pakistan cricket issues much more than you should be, much more than your KRA is, then see what's happening to the cricket team. And I said that it wasn't this a point, Shin, that I made it yesterday as well in our post-match show, that for a team that is in terms of competition, in terms of competence, not quite there going into a competition, if it faces this kind of hype, again, either you go in with that, no baggage, no hope, no expectation, then nothing to lose sort of mentality, then that's fine. That can perhaps get a win for the team. But one is the fact that you're not competent enough, you don't have the right resources, you don't have the right skill sets, and then on top of that is this thing about added hype, added pressure, where the whole you've basically put both social and political pressure on the team, which was anyway going to have a tough time on the field. So you made life more miserable for the Pakistan players, and the way honestly that they performed in the power play, you knew that the shoulders were down. This is a team that cannot compete. Look at the likes of an Italy and a Nepal and some of the other teams. Despite Italy, for example, today you thought that they were down and out, they needed nearly 12 and over, and they gave England a very good scare towards the end. If it wasn't for that wicket in the penultimate over, you were seeing this go right down to the wire. With Pakistan, again, there was never going to be anything once they lost their first few wickets.
See, that's the thing, right? You look at them, and the more you look at them, you realize that all this hype is made, and the only ones who seem to get crushed by it, ironically, is them.
Yeah.
They are the victims of the hype that is
They're
being
their own
created.
enemies, as they say.
Oh, yeah, 110%.
Absolutely their own enemies. Yeah, but since I mentioned, just on a side note, since I mentioned about the popular word being used in the comments, there is another thing, Nikhil, that's being pointed out in the comments, that perhaps the company overspent its budgets on sending you there and in getting you this pleasant looking view. What are your thoughts on that? Would you want to quell any of those theories?
So no, it's very interesting. I mean, first things first. It's not a government company that people need to be worried about whether they overspent or not. It's not the taxpayers' money. So this is a private company. None of that money comes out of the pocket of any of the viewers that are watching. That's first. So it is a decision of the people that run the company, right? That's one. But secondly, what people don't know, we get a fixed amount to travel, right? Now, if that fixed amount, especially on foreign travel, I can choose not to stay at a fancy hotel, stay at a rundown place, and save all that money for myself. Okay, I can if I want to. or I can spend the entire amount the company has given me to choose where I get to sing. It's entirely up to me, right? The money we get is a fixed amount. I can choose to freeload with someone with food, and bunk with someone in a small apartment and save all that money for me and buy some nice fancy shirts if I want, right? Or as I said, I spend the money in what the company gives me money for. So I choose to do the latter. So the money that is being given to me is for me to be in a place and to cover. And quite frankly, I think it's to each his own. I think that after having worked for so many years, you should not compromise on where you stay and what you do. And again, that's not something when a company pays me, even if I go out by myself or with my family or my holiday, I like to do things nicely. If that means I have to cut my own budget in doing something else, if not having enough money to invest like Harshit does, then I'll compromise on that as well, right? You remember as we had someone point out the other day that I'm investing
Steve
in
Tickler it
what sort
was.
of asset? Depreciating asset.
Yeah.
Depreciating assets. I choose to do that. I can choose to be a bit more wiser and do it. So again, to each his own. Like I
Yeah.
believe you live only once. You should live nice, happy, enjoy your thing. What happens, what? But as I said, coming back to, I don't want to get
Yeah.
distracted. I think more than what we are discussing about the view and where I'm staying and all. I think the more important thing at hand is what is really happening, and to answer your question whether there is a big gap or not. I have been, actually I must tell you this, I've been consuming a lot of Pakistani content the last 24 hours, not so much Indian content. And I'll tell you why. Because I think when they lose, the kind of whipping that they get from their own media is far greater than what we do. So I actually get, I mean, you can say sadistic pleasure or whatever it is, to see their media whip them. So I have been tuning on to listen to their former players and their, journalists and YouTubers and what they have to do. So that is actually, even though I was quite tired working long hours, but towards the end when I lay down in my bed at 2 in the night, I watched a little bit. So, I felt nice, relieved. I had a laugh or two. I chuckled and I went off to sleep. This morning also, lots of meme content that is doing the rounds. I watched all that. So it's so much fun to see. One thing I'll give them credit for, I think they have a great sense of humor. And by great sense of humor, I don't mean that of course, the ideation and to come out with jokes is a talent that they have, but the ability to laugh at themselves. I think in that sense, if our team is not doing well at some point, we'll get offended and we won't make fun of our team. We're still touchy about our team. We're like, no matter how bad they do, and we can be critical of them, but we won't, allow anyone to make fun. But here, they don't even wait for Indians to make fun. They themselves make so much fun. Oh my God, yeah. So I'm giving them credit. So sense of humor is that where you can joke about yourself and the circumstances that you find yourself in, or the kind of cricket that they are playing. But I mean, on a larger thing, I've also seen some analysis, some former cricketers. And now what I'm seeing is everyone, and this has been the common thread in everyone analyzing Pakistan cricket, there has been, Babar is useless, remove Babar. Shine Shah Afridi, how long will we keep tolerating him? He doesn't win matches. Shut up. I don't know for how long he's playing. He's never helped us win anything. Why are we carrying on? My point was simple. I saw all those analyses, and if I can give a neutral analysis sitting outside, having covered international cricket for a long time and Pakistan cricket also for a very long time, and I covered their previous teams as well, the Inzamamul Haqs of the world and Yunus Khans and Mohammad Yusuf and Shoaib Akhtars of the world. I did a lot of that. I think sometimes the analysis from an outsider can be better, because if you're really involved or invested like Pakistani fans are, they sometimes lose sight of the reality. So I want to put that reality, and that reality is, it doesn't matter if you drop Shaheen Shah Afridi or you play Naseem Shah, or you drop Salman Ali Aga and get Fakhar Zaman, or you bring a Rizwan back, or you do. The fact of the matter is, stop. This is the problem. This is an escape route. You're looking at some sort of Bali ka Bakra, and to justify that why you lost. You did not, sir. Everyone in Pakistan, you did not lose because X is not playing, Y is not playing, Z is not playing. You can remove X, Y, Z, bring A, B, C, whoever that might be, you're still going to lose. There is no bench strength. There is no option. There is nothing that you can bring to the table that can help you beat India. Indian cricket, sir, has gone far ahead. And the cricket doesn't go far ahead just by thinking about it. It's what you've invested. The fruits of 20 years of Indian cricket, the IPL and all of that is bearing fruit. Now you have a situation where you make another team. I've said it before, Yashasvi Jaiswal, Rituraj Gaikwad, Shreyas Iyer, all those guys you put together and make a team. It's going to be a darn good team. That will beat Pakistan 9 times out of 10. So it's not just by chance. It's not because you have made some selection error. It is not that at all. It is the problem is, sir, you do not have the talent. Now, what will they do? They will drop Babar. Who will they get? Talat Hussein Talat or someone else will come, or he will go and in the other Nawaz that they have, right? He will come back. Somebody other there. It's a cycle. You'll keep changing. X will come, Y will go, X will come. But the fact of the again, Shaheen Shah Afridi will not play. Naseem Shah will play. Naseem Shah will not do well. You'll go back to Haris Rauf. Who will you go? Salman Mirza, he's played a game. You can play him as well. I do not see that sort of talent that there is that can trouble the Indian team. You have to fix your structure, a Pakistani structure. It's far behind. There is no depth in talent. And you start fixing the structure at the grassroots, maybe in 15, 20 years, you might come back to the level where you can compete with India. Right now, that does not exist. So A, B, C selection choices will make no difference. Yes, they made blunders yesterday in the game. Toss was a blunder. A certain strategy by Salman Ali Agha in the game were a blunder. Yes, all of that was true. They only made matters worse for them. But even if you take those things out, try to put everything else. There's a big gulf. I was listening to some of the experts saying, "Oh, our bowlers did the job, and they got 177. The batsmen didn't step up." Oh, bhai, I feel like telling you, you do not. And they were blaming Salman Ali Agha for cricket awareness. That was he doesn't have cricket awareness. People who are commenting have zero cricket awareness. Honestly telling you that. Cricket awareness, you are saying 175, your bowlers did the job. That pitch you heard from Surya Kumar Yadav. He said 155 when we were batting on that pitch. Our target was 155. They read the pitch. They're batting. They read the pitch. 155 is the target. That's enough. And you're saying your bowlers did the job. No, sir, they did not do the job. Yes, because again, you're not being cricket aware. You're not reading the game. You're not saying that this is not a. You are just happy this Indian team gets 220 runs all the time, 250. Oh, see, we got them for 175. Oh, see, no one was able to hit Usman Tariq for a six. Doesn't matter. They got 25 more runs than the par total. India got it. I'm saying if India were playing any team, not as a team as bad as Pakistan on this pitch in these conditions, had it been Australia, South Africa, everyone would have struggled. Australia, same pitch, 169 Zimbabwe got. Australia could not get 169 versus a Zimbabwe bowling attack on the same ground. And you thought Pakistan will get it against India? Pakistan batting is more inferior than Australia. India batting far greater than Zimbabwe. Muzrabani picked up 4 wickets. So I don't understand that what you're reading is you let the game slip away. Ishan Kishan played an outstanding knock, but there is a massive gulf in not just the game awareness, in understanding where the team is, what their structure is. I don't see that gap being bridged at the moment. It's a big gap. I'll tell you one more thing. It's very interesting. I'm not going to take names. I met someone high up in cricket administration. And you know what he said? He said, yes, India's won. It's great as an Indian. People are going to feel proud. But the fact of the matter is, and it's a very telling statement, that right now, you're only being able to send India-Pakistan contests on the basis of politics. Only because of what is happening on the border and only because of political decisions that are taken or, a fight over terror. That is the only reason why even now there is interest in the India-Pakistan encounter. You take the politics away, let's say, everything calms down for the next 10 years and, there is no major terror incident or there's no skirmish on the border, everything, like you ignore Pakistan there, the government ignores and there's nothing happening there. You try and sell an India-Pakistan encounter, nobody is going to watch that India-Pakistan encounter. Another interesting thing, an Indian fan I spoke to, and that's what I'm trying to say, where India-Pakistan contest has gone. Honestly tell me, you catch hold of a regular Indian fan, you ask him to name more than 5 Pakistani players. Ask him to name more than 5 Pakistani players. He cannot name. If you go back into the Pakistani generation, I could name a regular fan could name the 11 players that they were playing, from Saeed Anwar to Inzamamul Haq to Amir Sohail to Ijaz Ahmed, their entire batting order you could name. Abdul Razak, Azhar Mahmood, their spinners are, and their fast bowlers are Wasim Akram. Every Indian fan would know all Pakistani players because they were competitive. So you saw what the opposition is like, what their strengths are, what weaknesses are. Today, an average Indian fan, forget us, it's our job, or some of our viewers who are like cricket nuts who watch cricket in and out, just leave them. Average cricket fan, which is 80% of the cricket watching viewership, ask them to name more than five Pakistani players. They cannot do it. And even if they can name, if Sayyam Ayub was walking on the streets, Mohammad Nawaz was walking on the street, Shadab was walking on the street, I can bet that majority of Indian fans won't even recognize them. Could you say that about previous Pakistani team, Shoaib Akhtar, if he walked on the streets of India, or a Wasim Akram, or a Waqar Yunis? If any of Inzamamul Haq, Saqlain Mushtaq walked on the streets of India, they'd get mobbed. That's the difference. So there is no cricket rivalry left. You're only selling this because of the politics that happening. If that politics calms down, nobody will watch an India-Pakistan encounter, and that's a fact.
At the moment, things that are happening across the border are pretty much delusional, if you ask me. Everything that you said, Nikhil, I'm going to be putting two things into context over here. One, the kind of talk we've heard come out of the Pakistan camp, and the way that the fans have also responded. There is a bit of an overlap in the two things as well. And I'm going to be talking about fans here because I believe they're an important stakeholder in the sport as well. Now, when the team management goes ahead and says something like, we were happy with the way that the bowlers were doing till a certain point, but overall, 175 the spinners didn't do well. That is what Salman Ali Agha said. Barring two spinners, everyone else had done well, by the way. And that is something we broke down yesterday. I was also looking at some of the memes that are doing the rounds. Now, if the common consensus, and if this is a layman saying, okay, 175, 176, listen India, and this is a meme that's doing the rounds. With that cake meme, I think that is something that got pointed out. Okay, it's going to be an absolute feast for us. We've stopped India for a score less than 200. This just tells you, forget the Gulf. This is about misunderstanding and being delusional. Not every pitch is going to offer you runs over 200. India were very happy with the way things had gone come the halfway stage because they knew they had an overpower total by about good 25 runs. Suryakumar Yadav said 155 was good. Ishan Kishan said 160 was good. You got 175. So while there was this sort of sense, and that's what you thought, that the team had also thought, Pakistan were so bullish, the fans were so bullish, and this is just miscomprehending how things in reality were. There was a team that knew that had gotten an overpower total, but you were looking at it as the other way around, that 200 par nahi hua, and this is what we take heart from. This is where that big gulf is. Forget competing with India. At the moment, you're not even thinking straight. This is what it tells me. You're not reading the situation right. Also, when you're busy celebrating, when there are people in the stands cheering on a Sahibzada Farhan, and absolutely any fan will go in the stadium and will cheer their particular players on. But even before you've taken the bat, even before you faced a Jasprit Bumrah, if the kind of commenting that's happening from the stands is Bari, we're going to hit more sixes, and full half an hour movie we're going to be making. Boss, in your whole career, what have you really done besides smacking? If the only highlight of your career is smacking a couple of sixes to Jasprit Bumrah in lost causes, then I don't know what else to say. If this is the outlook from the fans and from the team, instead of giving the fans a reality check or whatever it is, and just gloating in that very moment, you've forgotten that you lost all three matches. Sahibzada Farhan is just giving a smirk over there. The fans think, okay, it's going to be is hitting Jasprit Bumrah for sixes something that happens on a daily basis. Okay, it may have happened in the Asia Cup, but what happened on all three occasions?
You lost.
Which is why the setup, the cricket team and the fans both are being very delusional.
3 words, Harshan. Clutching at straws. It's what teams do when there's a rivalry so one-sided that you are so used to losing that you'll just find reasons that, at least Sahibzada Farhan hit Bumrah for 3 sixes. Oh, at least Abrar Ahmed gave a send-off to Shubman Gill. Another example. Oh, at least, Haris Rauf got in the face of the Indian batters. Never mind that he got smacked for sixes thereafter. Oh, at least we did this. Oh, at least we restricted them to under 200. It's all clutching at straws.
Oh, at least you remembered names of 5 Pakistani cricketers.
See, but it's our job. I'm pretty sure if we go and catch some ordinary tapriwala outside and tell him to name 5 Pakistani cricketers, he might not know.
Which is a huge landslide for where Pakistan cricket was and where Pakistan cricket finds itself. This is a classic. This would be said for Pakistan cricket board. That it's musical chairs over there. One day it's Ramiz Raja, the other day it's Inzamam Ulaq, the third day it's Najam Sethi, fourth day it's somebody else. Fifth day, it's Ramiz Raja again. That would be the thing. With their cricket as well. Okay, we've gotten rid of Rizwan and Babar. 2 months later, Rizwan's going to be coming back. No, Rizwan, we actually don't need you now. Babar, you also come back now actually. Rizwan, we're fine without you. Fakhar Zaman, you're a clutch player. We like the bravado the heart with which you play. Come in, lad. Fakhar Zaman doesn't know where he'll bat, whether he'll be opening, whether he'll be playing in the middle order. It takes half a tournament for you to realize it's good to have Fakhar Zaman right up top. Come the next tournament, Fakhar Zaman is out of the scheme of things.
He's on the bench. Arguably their biggest match winner with the bat is on the bench to accommodate Babar. Kis type ka king? A lot of Pakistan fans asking, Kisne king banaya aise? Who made him the king? Babar is taking the spot of Fakhar Zaman. Look, Fakhar is not some game changer of a batter or anything, but he's that guy. The day he sticks, he can win you a match. I cannot say the same about Babar Azam.
See, he's mercurial.
Exactly.
And the thing with mercurial players is you don't know which day they'll fire.
Excuse me.
And at times, as would be said, let's say, for example, for somebody like a Prithvi Shaw, 6 matches he will not perform. The 7th match that he performs, he's getting you to about 80 runs inside the power play, or at least 70 runs in the power play. But you'll have to wait for 7 matches. That's the thing with mercurial players. But what are you getting in return? You're getting somebody who will get you a 5-ball 6 or a 4-ball 4 or a 15-ball 15. That's it. You're not getting anything more.
You're getting in a player who, to quote one fan, could not even play straight spin. He got out to straight spin.
Yeah, Babar Azam. He's getting all the flack right now. Everyone's favorite meme at the moment. Though I have to say that, see again, where Babar is at the moment is down to Pakistan cricket only.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, see, it's their fault. You first started comparing him to Virat Kohli. Where is Virat Babar? You only added extra pressure on him. First, you made him your king. Bobsy the king or whatever. You hyped him up so much. Then he became captain, did decently well. You removed him from captaincy. Then you said, no, you come back. He took back captaincy. Then you even dropped him from the team. I mean, if it is any player, he is not going to have the best of confidence. Today also, he is having to bat at 4. He used to open at one time. Yeah, I mean, in that environment, that uncertain environment, it's going to be a struggle for any player to, thrive. And that's exactly what is happening with the Babar as well. But my point is see, the shot that he played, absolutely horrible. Shouldn't have, I think, 2 shots. Usman had picked up 2 boundaries there and then goes on to play that shot. But again, it was going to happen. Pressure was going to build up. It was a pitch that was helping spin bowling, and I think Indian spinners would come through, and at that situation I think that they'd lost 13 for 3 or something they were at one point. So you think you could have saved the match from that? In that condition they couldn't have. So again, I'm happy to note where the Indian team is, and just look at India's the way they conducted themselves. They came, and I'm so glad, one more thing, that they came here, made no fuss, the Indian team. You remember how people were, and a lot of Pakistani analysts, India has this advantage. What is this in Champions Trophy? They are in Dubai only. They only get to play there. Everyone else has to travel. Everyone has to do. Look at what the Indian team did. They didn't even complain about that once. Not even once did anyone from the Indian team said anything about them having to come to Colombo, or they only have 1 day of practice and they finish a game on Thursday night and Sunday they have to play. That includes traveling to another. Not a issue. Indian team came here Friday late night. They arrived, checked into the hotel room. Saturday practice for 2-3 hours. Sunday turned up at the game. finished them, easy peasy, walked off with the man of the match and the bragging rights, everything. Went back home this morning, woke up, packed their bags, off they are. They have a World Cup to look at. Yeah? Pakistan has to wait for qualification now. They need to win against Namibia. I'm telling you, if it wasn't for that drop catch, Fahim Ashraf's drop catch, Pakistan were out of the tournament. They had lost yesterday. That game was done. If it wasn't for the drop catch, and I remember the opposition captain there said in the post-match presentation that Pakistan didn't win this game. We lost this game. If you remember that, so
It was
they
the
were
captain,
that
yeah.
that close to being good. So I'm saying if you keep looking at excuses, blaming everyone else, and what was the talk? And I'll just tell you, even Pakistani media, all the talk was handshake, hoga, nahi hoga, we will do handshake. See, now you are coming now to Sri Lanka to play us. Mohsin Naqvi is going to be coming. He'll be sitting. All the big guys are going to be invited. You just keep talking about that. Indian team didn't say anything. Came as cool cats. No complaints, no issue. Came. The opposition said, Abhishek खेलना है. He said, अरे खिलाना है. Surya Kumar Yadav said, okay. Play him, yaar. You're saying खिलाना है, खिला दे. Want Kuldeep? Do you want us to play? Oh, no problem. Kuldeep, whatever you said, they did. There you have it. The result is in front of you. Done and dusted.
The thing is simple. You've beaten them in Melbourne. You've beaten them in Dubai. You've beaten them in Colombo. You've beaten them wherever they've wanted to play you. You take this team to Mars because that's the only place left where you can think of playing cricket. Or maybe you want to take a stoppage before that. Take this team to the moon and they'll beat you over there as well. That's
You
the
know,
thumb rule.
there's a meme because you said it. There is a meme by a Pakistani fan, my favorite meme on the internet, and he's saying, "यार पाकिस्तान हमने कहीं भी खिला लो, यहाँ भी खेल रहे हैं, हम हार रहे हैं, वहां भी खेल रहे हैं, हार रहे हैं, यहाँ भी खेल रहे हैं, हार रहे हैं. अब तो लगता है चांद पे ही खेलेंगे तो ही सब हम जीत सकते हैं, लेकिन चांद पे तो हम जा ही नहीं सकते, वहां भी तो सिर्फ इंडिया ही जा सकता है." He said that.
Uh, well, how do you dispute that? Because that's also this also you spoke of having different priorities and India have a World Cup to concentrate on. This is exactly in every aspect. We may it's just the misfortune, and I'm sorry I'm saying this. It's just the misfortune that we're having to share the border with them because that's the closest that we get, because otherwise in all realms, be it aerospace, be it sport, be it economics, everything, there's a huge gulf. There is nothing that the neighbors have rubbed on to each other. There's absolutely nothing that's been rubbed off or the right things that have rubbed off. The gulf is extremely enormous in all walks of life.
And that's the scary thing, right? Because if you're looking at it, the gulf in cricket now, since let's focus on that, since we are the sports journalists here, it's only grown and grown and grown, and I don't see there being a chance of it actually that
Shrinking.
gap shrinking anytime soon, barring something major changing when it comes to Pakistan side. Because I think India are very sorted. I can't say the same about Pakistan. Chaos is like the middle name. You can't call it the Pakistan Cricket Board, you call it the Pakistan Chaos Board.
People are calling them Jokistan and Delusionstan and whatnot. But as we try and answer this question, I think in many ways we already have. But Nikhil, what's the sense that you picked from the fans? Pakistan fans, I don't know if they saw this coming and how disappointed they were after yesterday's result. But are they also now agreeing to the fact that, listen, this match, we play this, but clearly there is a huge gap and this really isn't a rivalry anymore. We're competing against heavyweights where every time we walk in as the minnows.
I don't have too much time left on my discussion with you guys, but yeah, I mean, I don't think Pakistani fans needed this match for that realization. I think most of them know there's a big gulf. I know there was some sort of renewed hope. For some reason, it was being built up as a close contest. I don't know how, why. I never said that. If you see our previews here on Sports Today, I couldn't understand where it suddenly became close. For me, it still remained chalk and cheese, and that's exactly what's happened. And I think it just reinforced their or their worst fears came true. The result was there for everyone to see. Maybe months.
We've lost him.
Just at the crucial point. Anyhow, but we got a feel of what Nikhil was telling us, and And yeah, how do you really dispute what you're seeing on the field, barring just the one match? Yes, you were run close in Melbourne. Yes, you were run close in the final of the Asia Cup. But look what happened between those two matches and yesterday. The Gulf has it's almost cyclical.
Yeah.
Once in 4 matches, that's been the average. Once in 4 matches, you will see a good contest. You look at the last 4 matches, that Asia Cup final is the only match where you saw the two teams come close. Otherwise, yesterday's defeat was the second biggest defeat for Pakistan and the biggest against India in T20 cricket.
I mean, that in itself tells the entire story. And I think, look, the deal that they have right now, the broadcast deal, I think runs till 27.
27.
If I'm the ICC, the more I watch this, let's keep aside the money considerations for a second. I know the ICC can't do that and I'm asking too much of them here. But let's keep aside the money considerations for a second and look at the fact that we are now marketing the game due to political tensions and nothing else. There's no other reason. Greatest rivalry. No. Please stop using that. It's an embarrassment. And if I were them, I'd stop this nonsense of pre-seeding. I'd stop this nonsense of building groups around India, Pakistan, and let's take it from there, lads. I'd stop all of that.
It's Pakistan's own doing. Again, they've got so much, so little to offer in terms of their cricket that, there were several other dignitaries as well. But who was the one person we were all talking about?
Mohsin Naqvi.
Mohsin Naqvi. There was the entire ICC top brass that was there. There were several other BCCI folks as well. There were several celebrities. There were the common fans as well who'd reached there. But the conversation was about Mohsin Naqvi. Why? Because he meddled more than he should have in the first place into cricketing matters. So much so that now former players are also turning against you. Shoaib Akhtar has absolutely
Shredded him.
Absolutely ripped him apart. And you don't usually see this happening in most parts of the world where you question somebody in power or rip them apart to that extent. But Shoaib Akhtar clearly giving absolutely no two hoots about who Mohsin Naqvi is, because he realizes as a former cricketer with some skin in the game, as a stakeholder, as somebody who people turn to, look up to, that what he is doing is just not in the best interest. It's only in his political interest, but in all of that, he's only going to make Pakistan cricket more hollow than it already is.
Exactly. That's the thing. He's operating like a politician. And
Yeah.
I don't blame him entirely for that. That's what he knows. But I'll also blame him for the fact that he's using Pakistan cricket to gain political mileage,
yeah.
get some brownie points, be part of the photo ops. But are you doing the hard work needed behind the scenes to mend Pakistan cricket? You're not. You are not. And that's, I think, where Pakistani cricket will be the biggest losers.
Yeah.
That is the worrying sign. Anyway, shall we take a look at what it is?
We must. Shane, could you start? It's an important call
Excuse
that
me.
needs to be
Yeah.
answered.
I'll start off with it's Samir who says that. So, what's your fix for ICC scheduling? That almost guarantees India, Pak, and Aus England. Thoughts on pre-seeded Super 8s? Commercial logic is clear, but does this gerrymandering hurt the tournament integrity? Samir, wonderful question. I don't think there should be a fix. I think you should simply have a proper way of doing a draw and ensuring that you can actually have a fair draw based on rankings, based on other things, rather than actually guaranteeing or trying to guarantee India, Pak, or Aus England. As for pre-seeded Super 8s, as I said, as you are saying, by the way, it hurts the tournament's integrity. Because
does.
then at this point in time, it's just a joke.
Yeah, because if you're preceding your Super 8s, then that's pretty much wanting, just as you wanted an India-Pakistan clash for commercial reasons, then that's also looking at commercial interests first.
Correct.
And tournament integrity takes the second spot then.
Correct. Siva Subramaniam says, Nikhil sir with white hair might look like Naqvi. God,
He won't.
No.
He's not taking that as a compliment.
I'm pretty sure you won't. We'll pass on this message though. Steve Ticklow being very naughty. I'm not going to take that.
Hey, what did he say?
Read it.
Steve Ticklow, you being mean.
Too cheeky. Too
Yeah.
cheeky. Ashish Dhar says that England's batting is struggling and looking up to Jacks in every match. England are lucky to be in the Super 8's top order, asking one question. Will Jack score? I mean, today without that 50, they were done and dusted.
Yeah.
Vipin Vihari says Trump must get Pak with tariffs and let USA qualify. They might actually be more competitive. Ashish Dhar asks an interesting question. Sky is Catch 2024 or UV 66's
Oh.
better moment? Oh, I'd say Sky. It's not. It's close. It's very close. It's like 51-49.
See, the thing is, again, one's title defining,
Exactly.
the other's just pure class.
Hmm.
I think I'm going with Sky's catch.
Yeah, same.
Title defining it was.
Yeah. Raj NYC says, please admit you did say Pak is different this time. Yeah, I do agree. We did say that they look a somewhat different side from what we've seen in the past.
Yes, but there was valid reason enough as well. And I don't think any of us is going to backtrack on that one, because this is a team that's been in Colombo for nearly 10 days now. They were acclimatized and they had greater spinning resources in their ranks. How they used
Four spinners
Five.
four is without counting Saim Ayub and
Yeah.
Salman Ali Agha.
Yeah.
You had four prior to that. You had Nawaz, you had Shadab, you had Abrar, and you had Usman Tariq.
Yes.
Mr. Rahman Chaket himself. Sorry, I had to get that one in.
So,
This is too
yeah.
funny.
We were being cautious. We're not going to be backtracking on that.
Yeah, but I mean,
But did any of us at any point take the edge away from India, or even say this is 50-50? I don't remember. I don't absolutely remember that being done.
exactly. Let's see. Shantanu Banerjee says Pakistan should be treated as an associate nation. They should regularly play Italy, Nepal, USA, and Namibia. India should also play with them by sending Ranji teams in undisclosed locations. Very cheeky. Very cheeky. Let's see. Scroll slightly lower.
Well, if you do the undisclosed location bit, then they'll be the ones doubting the result and ask for proof.
Yeah, Lamine Yamal apparently is with us.
Okay.
Says that when someone like Gary Kirsten can't work with this board and get results, then Pakistani people need to understand that Naqvi is using their tool for personal gains and taking their cricket backwards. I agree.
It is for the people of Pakistan to question what's happening and the way that the board's being run.
Exactly.
Because as we've been saying, it's been all talk and no action.
Correct. Scroll. Yeah, a lot of comments on the Australia game between Sri Lanka. We'll be keeping an eye on that. We'll join you guys post the match is done as well.
Yeah.
Because I think it'll be an interesting match. Because
It
if
will
somehow Australia lose, by the way, they're out. They're pretty much out. Gautam Bhatia is saying, hello Shane, who will challenge India, West Indies or South Africa? You know, I'm seeing a lot of people give West Indies some love with understandable reason. They've been a good team so far. I think South Africa will be that team.
Oh, I have a feeling, Shane, West Indies are very quietly flying under the radar.
They are.
South Africa, there is a lot of momentum, there's a lot of talk and chatter about them for the simple reason that they were the finalists of the previous edition. And rightly so as well, they must be talked about. WTC winners as well. Of course, different format though. But those flying catches and those big hits that you're seeing from the West Indies and their love and flamboyance for this format is just on another level. Which West Indies turns up? You were very confident in 2016 against the West Indies as well. But
And then what happened?
Let's not recall what had happened. So yeah, I it does, feel like West Indies may just be the dark horse.
Yeah. Yogini travels with a very naughty comment asking, is agent Dhurandhar also staying in the 32nd floor? Well, yeah, I can fairly sure that would be the case.
we can confirm that.
Yes, that would in fact be the case. I like what Ruben Loganathan is saying. The Group X in Super 8s will be challenging because the pre-seeds right now, South Africa, West Indies, Australia and India,
Yes.
all are teams that can win the tournament. I agree. I think Group Y is a little on the weaker side. So Pakistan can make it, and I have no doubt that they should be able
It's going
to.
to be Pakistan, New Zealand, Sri Lanka, and there's going to be one more team.
I'm forgetting which the fourth team was. Ashish Dhar being funny, saying UZ might represent USA in the next edition. Or he might be doing commentary.
As he already is.
Yes. Anyhow, shall we?
Vishal, Pavan, can we? Have we taken all comments? Okay, Pavan
Okay,
says-
let's see. Priyanshu is saying pre-seeding is so bad that strong contenders India, South Africa, Australia and West Indies are all in one group, which will allow one mediocre team like Pak or England to come into the semi-final. Pathetic rigging of the tournament. I agree. A lot of hate for the pre-seeds, by the way, which I understand.
I totally get that as well. Totally get that. You fixed your groups in a way that, again, India, Pakistan should absolutely not be in the same group by any stretch. And yeah, then you forcibly put that. Then you've preceded your Super 8s as well. That's just no better way of saying this. That's putting commas before the sport.
Exactly. In fact, as Rahul, not Dravid, also points out, saying pre-seeding's there for a reason, but indirectly you're telling other 12 teams that you're there just to extend the tournament and we're not expecting you to reach the next stage. I find this an insult to them, especially for a team like Afghanistan. Agree? Sarachandra Yalamarthi says, panelists, is Tariq the worst to hold a bat and play? He was even awkward while batting yesterday than his bowling. Also, which new meme was the best after yesterday's match? For me, it was the cake on the poor sister.
Was it the sister or the wife?
Yeah, sister. Well, a lot of people are mentioning sister. So,
Okay.
I think that one and also that...
You've seen the preceding reel to that one?
Yeah.
As to how they were extremely happy with the cake at the halfway stage. Again,
then-
very joyous. 200's not been breached, and
And then
they're
it's
going to be
cake-faced.
feasting on the cake.
and then you get cake faced. Well, for me, the other one which I found favorite was this two guys debating. Saying, Babar kaun sa king hai? Kiska king hai Babar? King bana diya tumne? That was for me my favorite. Poor guy.
Oh, God.
Shall we?
Lamine Yamal with another interesting one. He says that Harshad, Pakistan team need Ralph Rangnick to perform the surgery.
Open heart surgery.
Open heart
Yes, I
surgery.
remember
That's
that.
what
I
Ralph
remember
Rangnick
that.
had said during his interim time
Yeah.
at Manchester United.
Vamshi Krishna is asking Harshad Shain, any recommendations on how to precede then, considering the geopolitical reality? Don't precede. Just let
Open draw.
Yeah, let it be an open draw.
Open draw.
Let it be an open draw. Right now,
It'll
see.
be very interesting the way that we see it in Champions League. If
Yeah.
ICC also was to take that route, I'd love, remember Shane 10 years back. We were perhaps back in school at that time, more than 10 years back, where there used to be these conspiracy theories. Real Madrid, the ball's a little cold.
Yeah.
That's why they get put in that particular pot.
Easy groups.
Easy groups. But see, that would make for good 1 hour of entertainment where those balls would just fly. From them being placed in the pot to them flying around, and then you'd pick one ball. It used to make for good entertainment.
That's the thing. I remember those. In fact, even now with this new format where you do have, of course, teams being drawn to play each other because you'll have 4 home games, 4 away games. It's interesting to watch because sometimes you're like, did this team actually get the better end of it? But yeah, it's interesting.
It's fine if also cricket sort of goes to that route and was to adopt. Again, fans will
even
just have
look
a
at how
gala
the
time,
FIFA World Cup and all.
But again,
goes.
it'll be an open draw at the end of it. The conspiracy
Exactly.
theories may follow after that. That's fine. Ki iski ball zyada garam thi, iski ball zyada thandi
The problem
thi,
also
whatever,
with pre-seeding is we have to remember pre-seeding exists because of this stupid hybrid model tournament thingy also. The sad reality is that without this hybrid model, you can move past it. But right now, that is also in the way. So political egos are also needing to be massaged.
Yeah.
Last question I think we can take from Ritik. Says, can I ask why Hardik Pandya's girlfriend is allowed to travel with the team? Rules are only for 2 people. Maybe she's living separately in another team
Exactly.
hotel.
We're not quite sure if she's staying in the same
Yeah.
hotel. That's
Because from what we got to hear, though, the rule which was put in place after the Border Gavaskar trophy is still in effect.
Yes.
So she's not traveling with the team. If
And
she's
this
traveling,
is
she's
an
traveling
exactly
separately.
29-30 day tournament. For 2 weeks to be allowed for partners to stay with the team, you need a 45-day tour
Exactly.
or longer. And this doesn't
This one's a
qualify
lower
to
30.
be that.
Yeah. It's Feb 7 to March 8.
Yeah,
are the
and
dates.
it's a 28-day month as well.
Exactly. So, it's a shorter month also. Yeah, I forgot. Anyhow, we will now take your leave. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this edition of The Dugout. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you guys. We were originally going to be a little late today again, but circumstances conspired to ensure that we reached you guys on time. Yeah. Harshad, take her away.
Yeah, as always.
Actually, wait, today is not. No, we don't need to.
Today-
Our last live is later on.
It's not going to be Nandri yet
Yeah.
on the Sports Today Dugout, as usually is the case. But also, let's get used to not having our Nandris and greetings getting done at this point, because now the tournament's really picking
Exactly.
up. And we're going to be bringing you live analysis of every match, every big ticket match. And there is one happening tonight as well. For which
Sri
Shane and I
Lanka.
will be giving you company. So join us when that match gets over. We're not going to be saying goodbye to you right now.
Yeah.
However, just as always is the plea, we will urge you to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Also watch some of the other videos which have already been uploaded, and many of you don't follow us on Instagram. You join us here on YouTube, but you tend to forget that we're present across social media platforms. So go enjoy our content on whatever choice of platform you like, but don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button.
And
with
tap
that,
the bell.
Shane and I will take your leave. Bye bye from the two of us and Pawan, who's behind the camera rolling the show.